stormwater ordinance requires the city to assume responsibility for third-party stormwater maintenance on their system, and these are done individually. And part of this is a contract between the city and the owner, who makes the owner responsible. Basically, it puts the city as the enforcement agency to make sure that the maintenance plan that they submitted is getting done, and that's also provided. And we are looking at the moment, instead of coming to these with you individually, for every time we have new business coming in that has to provide a stormwater plan to the county for approval under the permit, and we have to get a contract. We're working with Wade Sherm right now to possibly get a blanket resolution, so we don't have to keep taking these individually to council every time that we have a stormwater agreement between the city and a private individual, which is required under our stormwater ordinance, that we can just automatically sign those as they come in. But that is what this is for.
Yeah, item number 28 is to amend the CCR number from September of 2016 to increase the authority to purchase road salt in an amount not to exceed $75,000. Are we running out of salt?
We are running out of money to buy salt. We extinguished our budget for the year on salt. Since I'm new here, I'm not sure how much they budgeted in the previous year. We have enough right now to last us a storm possibly, but we have been going through a lot of salt. Just because we haven't had a lot of snow doesn't mean we haven't been salting a lot, because even these 1-inch snows, when it freezes, it gets slick, and when the police calls out, we have been throwing salt down on the snow. Yeah,
there's no salt out there. Don't go out there, there's no salt.
We went through a lot.
If I'm not mistaken though, didn't we should be, 2 years ago, we didn't hardly use any. Last year, we just had to buy a little bit to stock what we didn't use from 2 years ago. So we should be way ahead of the game in the salt. And I can't see,
I thought there was an excess at one point too, so we bought one load that cost X and the second load was too rough, and then I thought we had an excess supply, so I don't know if that means we just used it or...
Our salt dome is very small for this community, just like, the storage capacity is, from what I've been told, we had 2 salt storage, we had one on Ecorse Road, now we're down to 1, and we fill that up and it empties fairly quick when we salt the streets.
So,
Yeah, we did, because we had to buy it at the higher rate.
right.
yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it can go.
So what is the expenditure request only for the $8,726 on the second page?
Yeah.
And if so that's the unencumbered balance right now for salt is $8,726, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so
so basically what it is, through Chair to Councilman Cross, so what it is that that's what the request is. I believe the original authority for the salt purchase was like around 66,000 or whatever. So the agenda item is to go up to the maximum amount of the budget, which is 75,000, which is the additional.
and that's the additional, okay.
Yes, that's what that
Also, it's
represents.
just an additional 8.
Right.
Okay. I did run into Brenda, and she said the call center has been getting more than the normal amount complaints about your streets not getting salted.
Yeah, there was a garbage truck stuck on a street for a couple hours on Friday.
What were you going to say
And
there?
that street had never been plowed or salted.
I was just going to address Councilman Becerra's question about the purchase, and then we can come back to that. So our first year in office, that was the year that we bought the salt, and then we had the commitment with the DCC for the extended purchase, the bulk purchase, which they raised the rate we couldn't get out of. So we had way more salt than we needed, so that carried over into the second year. And so we only had to buy a limited amount the second year. Well, then we based this year's purchase on last year's purchase, which was a smaller amount, so now we're just at that point. Yeah, so that's kind of the timeline.
Yeah, that makes sense, thank you.
Keith, do you want to address I talked to you about some of the calls that were coming in, that's what the council chairwoman just asked, about the timing of the last snowfall and when the guys went out, and some of the calls and complaints in the neighborhoods.
about the streets not being salted. And I don't know if shoveling was
Oh,
involved.
wow, nothing.
Well, we were plowing the streets. We plowed, we just didn't work overtime that evening because it was melting, and then we're expecting some more snow. So that morning, I believe around 5 o'clock in the morning, we received 2 more inches of snow. And we had the crews come, they worked first thing in the morning, they worked all the way till 11:30 at night, completed everything plowed and all the stuff.
Well, let me ask is, when I was there and we did the plowing, it was standard practice, we did every street in the city,
Mhm.
every street in the city. That's still a practice.
Yep, sure is.
Because I actually took pictures of Livonia, and some of the main areas, I mean, some of the neighborhoods, you could hardly get down. They don't plow the
Yeah.
They
streets.
subcontract out the snow.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some streets on the south end that did not look like they got plowed.
Yeah, I mean,
My
Or
subdivision,
salted
it's
some.
a lot of the cities around here don't do every street like we do.
I know.
You know, and you're not
But I
gonna
think
get it
there's some
done,
streets that
you're
get
not gonna
missed
get it in 24 hours, you're just
fairly
not gonna do it.
consistently. No, I'm not talking about 24 hours, I'm talking about a week later.
Right. Well, I know that. and
So I just think there's a few that kind of fall off the map in
I
certain
think
areas.
some are.
We had
by
streets,
some.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, we had streets that didn't get done till a week later here in Taylor.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not, yeah, if I would have known that, I wasn't aware of it. Usually if your street doesn't get done, we get the calls and we send somebody right back out to check.
Well, I
To make
sent
sure
an
it was-
email on Friday to,
No, and you're right, there were some streets that, if they weren't done, if they were done, they weren't done very well. If they were plowed.
And I think, did Brenda tell you how many calls she had?
She did come to me, I think it was Friday, Thursday or Friday, I can't remember what day it was, and said they had quite a large volume of calls coming through within the last couple of days, and their streets not being done.
What do you do when there's a car in the way of a salt, plow?
Plow around it.
Snow it in, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Do you
that's a
call-
police issue to
Do you
enforce
call the
it.
police?
yeah.
Does
Yeah,
the
but-
truck driver call the police?
Yeah,
They,
Okay.
yes.
It depends.
If it's a snow.
there was a,
I mean,
I
sometimes
was
it's
riding
broke
with them
down
one night,
cars,
and they couldn't get
sometimes, you
through.
know.
There was a street in my neighborhood where they could not get through because of the cars were parked
There were
out.
so
when-
many.
On each side of the road?
Yeah, so I mean, they literally sat there on their horn for a little bit, and then finally somebody came out and moved, because, you know, police can't go to every situation, you know, I mean, they're like, hey, we're a little busy right now, we might not be able to get there. So a lot of times, if they, you know, it seemed like when they honked their horn, somebody waved out the window and came and moved, and they were able to plow that, but.
Do we still have the books there?
Yes.
There's still books?
We actually, I wish I'd have brought one with me.
Yeah, would you
We
bring
just
one?
made new ones and they're pretty impressive. They did a really nice job.
Because she's right, there was a couple streets that weren't plowed.
We do have books that we have in each truck. We just made new ones.
Michelle, was the issue them not being plowed, or were they being plowed, it's just they were icy? Because a few calls I've taken, they were just icy, they hadn't been down them, they were just icy.
I think a lot of it was icy,
And when,
but there were some that weren't.
one I talked to today called, and they, I don't know if this is the truth, but they said the call center agent told them that DPW was refusing to salt the streets. And I said, that's not true, and I said, let me make a complaint, and I did call Casey, and she said that they weren't gonna go out and salt the streets, so I told her I would follow up and take care of it.
You know, in a lot of instances, people think that this whole city can get done like that.
Mhm.
No, I
And
think,
then,
yeah,
well, and I
I
understand,
try to explain.
but a
that.
lot of
It
people
is,
think
yeah,
that.
too long.
And what they don't realize is you've gotta go around vehicles, you gotta weave in and out of traffic, you gotta back up, you gotta lift that plate before you tear it off. You know, it's a lot of work. To go down one street, one truck takes 3 swipes up and down. You know, so it's not an overnight thing, but if they're not getting it down all the way, they're not plowing it properly, or they're not plowing it at all.
Well, and I think, you know, I heard that the call center got a lot of calls, and then I heard Keith say he didn't hear anything about it. So, you know, we also got to make sure our internal communication is such
That's
that
true.
the person that would be in charge of saying, wait, if we missed it, go back out, or
Right.
we weren't going to stop, yes, we are, we got to make sure, you know, it's odd to me that there's this many calls and it's not getting to him.
Madam Chair,
Yeah. that is
I think I got 2 complaints that.
It sounds like there's a lot more.
Yeah, but I did get a couple and we did address them.
So is the policy still just to do intersection salt in the subdivisions?
It depends, it depends on the situation. If it's icy, we'd like to do the whole subdivision, but because of our salt situation, we tried just to do the intersections this time until we get the approval, because if we had a big storm, we didn't want to leave ourselves.
So you're rationing out, huh?
Just until after the council meeting. And we did do spot salting. We had a complaint, and because of ice, we still went out there and did it. We did what you call intersections of spot salting. We just didn't do the entire lengths of all the roads because of, we're trying to save up on our salt. And we've been doing other things internally also. We calibrated our salt spreaders with the tarps to make sure that we're not throwing too much down. And we're actually going to calibrate them again to make sure that the drivers didn't turn it, because sometimes when you get out at night, you don't see that salt, they kind of turn it up a little bit,
Yeah,
and you're spreading more than what you need. We're really looking hard at the way we are salting to make sure we're not putting too much out.